is
my
likely
gosh.
going to get off walk free after abusing the system for decades, getting footage on so many high profile people, underage girls reportedly at his party, according to his neighbors, multiple other sources, saying they are participating in trafficking rings at his party underage. And yet, they are now dropping some of the trafficking charges. They are dropping
What did I tell you?
arson charges. They are dropping a lot of stuff. And we have footage showing P. Diddy meeting with the feds. Put up this clip. I want you to take a look at what he's doing in this, as P. Diddy didn't just meet with them for 5-10 minutes. This was a 2-hour meeting that he had with the feds. And you can see that on the timestamps of the original clip. A lot of people thought maybe they were getting him to go get his stuff. Now that we have the full time-stamped clip, we can see what was really happening, which is Diddy's meeting with them, offering a deal of some kind. And then, of course, he's going to take it. And probably that deal most likely is, hey, all of the footage that you have, all of the sleeper sources that you have, why don't we not have all of that stuff released in exchange for you walking free? He got the better end of the stick. He wasn't the Epstein. That was the other option. Diddy saw what happened to Epstein, though, and he had a protection plan in place. I firmly believe that. And that is why he is likely going to walk free entirely, unless by some miracle those charges are able to stick and they're able to acquire those tapes ahead of time. That's really the only way. Either they get the tapes, that's why they raided his houses. All they want is the tapes. And they know that he has them in places they can't access right now. Either they access them or he walks free. That's the way I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah, so somebody just said in the notes that that they did not drop the charges. So I just want you to know they did abandon allegations against the rapper days before the trial ends. Okay, so this is a real thing. It did happen. And they're the most egregious of the claims that they had against him. So the government has removed instructions from the charge related to attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, aiding and abetting sex trafficking. Government is no longer planning to proceed on those theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. So they got rid of the biggest charges against him.
Yep.
Okay, so let's if we're going to put this up here, let's just get some context on what you're putting up. This is the actual the document to remove rights to request edits to the court's proposed jury instructions. So this means they're deleting some of the charges, or at least the theories behind the charges. Makes sense. I think every American should get the same treatment.
Why don't we have your charges deleted too, Joe?
I don't have charges. Actually, contempt of court. I do have that, I guess.
Yeah. Why don't we delete that? We can also delete the defamation stuff. Just delete it all. I'm
gonna win the defamation case hands down, and I'm gonna get a big award after I go back after his attorneys for malicious prosecution, because I think they know. Matter of fact, I'm sure that they know who the person is that Eric was on the phone with. I'm positive of it, actually. I'm willing to bet they know who he is, and so I'm gonna win my case. I want my day in court.
Go ahead and put up A1, because this is the footage that they're trying to hide. This wasn't supposed to even come out in the first place, and this shows clearly that it's been the inside track since the beginning. Diddy was never worried about this trial, because since the beginning, the feds told him, as long as you cooperate, the charges are going to be dropped. As long as you don't have our bosses be exposed, then everything will be fine for you. This is really a show. It is a sham. There he is right there walking up with them, a 2-hour meeting approximately. He was not getting his stuff. That's what they initially claimed this footage was. You don't take 2 hours to get your stuff. You take 2 hours because you're meeting with them. Then there he is walking out. They have the ceremonial handcuffs. This is undeniable proof, when you read between the lines, that this has been rigged from the beginning. You combine that with the charges being dropped. Not because he was innocent, but because they just decided to. Why wouldn't they bring forward the charges and find him innocent? Why not continue trying to pursue them? Dropping them right before we're about to see a conclusion here, before the jury has a chance to even go after him on these, is total inside play. Undeniably so. Find him not guilty then. Keep going forward with it.
I mean,
it's disgusting.
If I'm being honest, I actually don't care about Diddy. I don't care about Diddy because all it leads me down the pathway to is that they can do and say whatever they want. You know, I'm growing. Matt. I'm a little tired of the idea that, oh look, I'm a 15.2 right now. This morning I was a 15.3. Yesterday I was a 15.4.
It's remarkable. Yeah. And if you look at his stats, I was skeptical at first that this could even be possible without some sort of interference. If you look at his stats, you can see no sign of followers being taken away.
No.
Look at them. We can maybe we can throw them up on the screen. Why not? We can do that. Yeah. But you see the followers being lost. He's gaining more than he's losing every single day.
But I'm losing 100 a day.
But you're losing 100 a day.
Yeah. And then people send something to me all the time like, hey, I didn't unfollow you, but I was unfollowed. It doesn't matter. I don't actually care. But let me tell you, my issue, Matt, is that we sit there and we talk about Israel, and everyone wants to say there was an and I know we got a lot to go over today, okay, and we're going to dive into P. Diddy, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I put this post up 11 minutes ago that they'll end up censoring it, but I still made it clear, I don't give an F about the laws passed in diplomacy with other nations when the primary issue we have is fraudulent elections with machines and fake and phantom mail-in ballots. You want me to care about Israel? What good has that done for the people? Our taxes are 56 cents on every dollar, which leaves scraps on the bone for you to feed your family. And despite only being 2.2% of the population, they hold power in 80% of the nation and local leadership, either directly or by captured proxy. You want to see free and fair elections? And we want to see free and fair elections and for our people not to be out of jail. We freed J6ers and those that really did not represent any real power, structure, danger. Yeah, we won't do any real work, the work that matters. Let's stop the BS, no machines and no mail-in ballots, free Tina Peters, and stop playing grab ass and stalling. For fuck's sake, we've had enough. You know, I keep seeing the Kabuki theater on everything that's a distraction from what really is the problem. And I don't really care about the symptoms of the problem. I care about the problem. Matt, there are no way, the fact that they can go in and get rid of Thomas Massie and build a campaign to get rid of Thomas Massie when he has represented well his district. Now, and I don't have to agree with everything President Trump says. I have to support him as a commander-in-chief, right? A duly elected commander-in-chief.
Right.
But I certainly don't have to go through the rest of the process of saying he's right. When you leave people like Lindsey Graham and others in positions of power and authority who have betrayed you over and over and over again. Thomas Massie just came out and told you the truth. He told you what really should, and it turns out that President Trump truly feels that way. And the video that he had yesterday that says, I don't give an F about, they both are stupid. And he's not wrong. But every time we turn around, Matt, we're having conversations about stuff and we're all of these distractions. And I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? They don't want to solve the problem. They don't want to solve this problem.
There's a lot of people on social media who are prominent, influential voices, especially Matt Wallace, but also Candace Owens, also people like Jake Shields, many who are now Dan Bilzerian, who are calling out the way it's been for a long time, who are not loyal to the funders and to the people who have been using money to gain influence and power within our country. They're not loyal to them, and they are now influencing President Trump. I believe that firmly. He's not fully over the line yet, but he's seeing that. He's seeing all of it. He watches it. He sees it. His advisors see it. People cannot ignore when so many loud voices are speaking the truth. And it's the same thing, hopefully, with Diddy, because there are calls right now for Trump to pardon Diddy.
I don't give a fuck about Diddy.
They want him to be pardoned.
I don't give a shit about Diddy. I don't give a shit about Diddy. I mean, I got to tell you, the more I hear about Diddy, the more angry I become. Front page of every fucking news outlet out there. We got people that literally are in here stealing every part of our country, and we got to worry about it. And it's not just the United States. Smartmatic, Dominion, all these assholes, literally across the board, are stealing the elections, not just in the United States, but in every other country. And we're sitting here on our fucking ass. I hate that motherfucker. Sorry. And look, you're going to have a lot of F's to get rid of. But I hate Diddy. I freaking hate that guy. I hate him. Why? Because he represents everything that is terrible about our country. Everything is terrible. While propping up a guy that's a deviant that rapes women. I mean, imagine your children actually going through that. Your girls going through that. Right? And they drop charges. Drop charges for what? Make them go all the way to the mat and beat the charge. Why are we changing the jury instructions instead of letting it actually play out? You heard enough evidence. Why?
I mean, when you have footage combined with allegations, and yet you still let it slide without even investigating further, you know that it's been an inside job. It's so obvious. Epstein, if he had handled it better, would have gotten probably the same deal. Epstein would be free right now, enjoying his islands. Instead, he got the Epstein deal rather than the Diddy deal. So now we have two terms to use. You can be Epstein or you can be Diddy. Either you're going to be killed or they're going to make some sort of deal with you. Those are the only two options at this point. When he is free next year and when he's walking around and when he starts doing this again, and we have to watch as more people are trafficked, we have to watch as the blackmail tapes continue to be used on politicians, on celebrities, we will look back to this and we will basically see clearly and undeniably that the U.S. justice system is a joke. It is a top-down system that is only designed to help certain people who have the power and screw over everyone else.
All right. Are we done talking about Diddy?
Never.
We're not done talking about Diddy?
Absolutely never. It's Diddy. It's Diddy, Joe.
I hate that guy. I don't want to talk about Diddy.
You don't like Diddy? You're not a fan of his music?
No, not at all. I'm not a fan of his music at all. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the last one that actually ran the time during his time would be Tupac, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Diddy had something to do with the fact that he was actually killed. So
he did. Yep.
I don't really, or Biggie Smalls or whatever. I just don't. Did you see the video on the Smartmatic in the Philippines?
It's a joke. Are we going to play it right now?
Yeah. This to me is the guy that is in this video is the same guy that ran elections, is still running elections down in Texas, who lied to a country. I don't know, man. I don't give a shit about the Kardashians, but I do care about this. Put this up.
So what you're saying, what
Can't
you're
hear it.
telling us is that the server is the one that dictates whether it will accept the message or not, irrespective of the time being used by the sender.
The server is not looking at the time, but rather the digital signatures and the contents of the package being generated by the Pico. So if the
But
package...
if that's the case, Mr. Chairman, what's the use of having a time as far as the Pico sender is concerned? What's the purpose of the time if that is immaterial?
The time gives you the sequence of the actions, and when you actually
Yes, but this, if I may interrupt, as Congressman Gomez says, if this sequence can be delayed to 10 in the evening, what the heck? My God.
Sir, if I may-
Your assurance was that anything that happens between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. would be reflected as 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I didn't know that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. could be moved to 10 in the evening. Do you realize what a fool you have made
Sir,
of the legislators who passed this law?
I understand, sir. With all due respect, it's an unforeseen situation. It's one of those-
Unforeseen?
Yes, sir.
That was the principal guarantee that this would be an honest election. That we would know digitally what would happen during election day and during the election hours.
And you do, sir, if I may.
No, don't forget that. The sons of bitches. You had us standing here guaranteeing to the public and the world that even if fraud is committed, we would be able to trace it. We never said that fraud could not be committed. But you said we could trace it, and now you tell me that at 10 in the evening you could do it and we would never know.
No, sir. I stand by our product, and we can
Son of
trace
a
everything
bitch!
that we do.
You see how calm he was? You know, the reason why I get pissed off is because I've spent millions of dollars on a stupid defamation case. I have $1,000 a day that I have to pay. $1,000 a day to Eric Shitbag Coomer. $1,000 a day for a guy that's a deviant who a jury just found that I was absolutely credible, because I am credible. But the system, you know, wants to favor this piece of trash Diddy while our elections get stolen. And the video we played yesterday of Stu Peters, where everyone parroted I don't think there's a difference, Clay Higgins. There's a difference between Israel and the United States. There's no difference. And then you got this Bo Khan guy that says, is it just me, or is anti-Semitism becoming popular? And I'm thinking to myself, becoming popular? It's not popular. We don't have a voice. AIPAC walks in, just does whatever the hell they want. Buy elections, change the outcome, own the media. You know, rape children. Who cares, right? They're all part of it. They got a whole black book. It's not just the Epstein problem. It's the problem holistically that we have to deal with over and over and over again. We can't even see it. You're not allowed to see it. I'm literally just I'm at my wit's end at how stupid we've become as people. We put up with it. We put up with these people. 80%. They own 80% of everything. 45% of the judges, 50% of the judges are Jewish. And they're not Jewish meaning they believe in God. They're faithless zealots. But I gotta support it while I watch my community fall to shit. And by the way, Jamal, off parole. Jamal, the guy that I've been mentoring, he's off parole 3 years early. Congratulations, Jamal. But you know what they did? They picked him up because he kicked the door, damaged it, said, I'll pay for it. No. We want to charge you. But had he been an illegal, they would have let him go. It just doesn't make any sense. Like we have rules in this country that don't apply to us. Now we got a socialist communist in New York City that's going to become the mayor? And they're going to tell me that's a free and fair election when 100% of the ballots are done through mail-in? I mean, come on, this is absurd. It's even absurd that we've been sitting here having the conversation about how stupid and retarded we are for even tolerating it, and especially the people in New York. Nobody wanted that. Nobody 6 months after President Trump was elected decided, oh, you know what? We had really bad with Eric, the guy that was the mayor in New York City, and now we get worse. Let's just put this clown he's not even American.
And did you say President Trump? Because I mean, I thought that was his old name. Apparently, he goes by a new name now.
Daddy.
Daddy.
He goes by Daddy.
That's his new name. We have a clip. So in the Netherlands, NATO stuff getting crazy already. Take a look at B1. This is one of the people who is at the head of NATO calling Trump Daddy. Take a look.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have.
Call him Daddy.
He's literally calling him Daddy.
But here's my problem. There are real consequences to what's happening. Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
And Trump responded to that
he
as
is
well.
His daddy. That's right.
So here's what Trump had to say. Here's B2 Trump responding to that.
From Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
But
He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you, and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that. But do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own without?
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning.
I love Trump. Is he the daddy of NATO? Is that the new thing? It sounds like it to me. I wish. I think Israel must be the granddaddy then. Israel is the stepdaddy of the daddy, apparently, because they're calling the shots. But for now, that's fun to watch. And then he was asked about it. The NATO chief that called him daddy. This is quite an interesting little bit of drama here. He was asked about it. Go ahead and play B3. This is him responding to that.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News. Hello. The language that you have used when talking to Donald Trump has been notable because of its flattery. Today you called him daddy. You sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel you have to act when doing business with the US president, through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning, and doesn't it make you look weak?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste. But I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments, would you ever think that this would be the result of this summit if he would not have been elected president? Do you really think that the 7 or 8 countries who said, yeah, somewhere in the 2030s we might meet the 2%, we've now all decided in the last 4 or 5 months to get to 2%? So doesn't he deserve some praise? And when it comes to Iran, the fact that he took this decisive action, very targeted, to make sure that Iran would not be able to get its hands on a nuclear capability, I think he deserves all the praise.
Makes sense.
That's a good answer.
It's a good answer. We're so concerned. She said, doesn't it make you look weak that you would call him daddy?
I mean, it does. She's a little bit right. It did seem a little bit awkward when he's not wrong that Trump's now the daddy of NATO, but it was awkward to hear it being used in that context.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I wouldn't. If I would never. I don't care if you're the president of the galaxy. I'm not calling you that. Yeah, I'm not calling you that.
Look, there's a little bit of humor that's been added back to what we're kind of dealing with right now in the political world. But keep in mind that the weakest among us are the ones that are in power, and that the stealing of elections. And I could hammer on this all day long. And by the way, I said it yesterday when I was meeting with that other guy, that reporter. I was like, I can run circles around almost anyone when it comes to the system architecture and how these machines and everything run, right? And they want to say you don't understand. Oh, are you an election expert? By now I am. But if we, what you see on the global deal, I mean, you have people that are presidents that are married to men. Macron, he's
Obama.
married to a man. Obama, married to a man. You got weak people like the Canadian Prime Minister. You got weak people. I mean, just horribly weak people. And I look at the leadership across the country, and you have Prince Charles and Prince Harry or whatever. Is it Harry and who's the other guy? I don't even know. And that's like the number one story out there. The number one story is not that the economy is slowing down at a pace of 1.2 to 1.5% a month. No, it's not. And the key indicators show that we're going to have a recessionary period in the next 4 to 6 months. No, that's not something we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about that. We want to hide behind the Kardashians and fucking Diddy. I'm angry. I'm so angry. I don't, the daddy part, and maybe this is my, you're going to charge me by the hour, and I'm going to lay down on the couch, and you're like, Joe, what's hurting you right now? Because it is maddening that we put ourselves in this position where these are the leaders that have their hands on a nuclear weapon, and then President Trump has to say it's like two schoolboys fighting in the deal, and that they decided to go at it. You're not gonna be able to stop them until it's over. I mean, it's madness. What we're dealing with across the world is absolute a degradation of basic intelligence. basic intelligence. And the reason being is because the intelligent people are being held back by stupid people who were put there by demons that want to basically take everything from us.
You know,
It's
not just the demons that want to take everything from us. It's their worshipers who are happily guiding us down a path to hell. That's what we're watching happen and unfold before us. And by the way, Trudeau, he got divorced by his wife because he was sleeping around with men. Everyone knows it.
Is that a true thing?
Everyone knows.
I saw someone, I was like...
He was sleeping with men and women. He's a bisexual guy, sleeping with both of them.
I can't imagine a
That's
woman
why.
sleeping with him.
It is weird to think about that.
Yeah,
I can imagine a man sleeping with him.
He's a bottom.
Not that I want to. Yeah, he definitely... definitely. For sure. He definitely isn't... He definitely isn't a top, I would say. If we want to go to the details of Trudeau's sex life, probably I mean, YouTube. If you're going to ban us, for this,
is YouTube going to ban us?
You're only allowed to talk about.
Are you not allowed to talk about elections now?
You can criticize Trump, but you can't mention Trudeau's gayness, or else you're going to get banned from YouTube.
Macron marrying a man.
It's so obvious too with Macron. It's not even. They're not even really trying that hard to hide it. And then they have the court system that does a lawsuit, gives the victory over to Macron and his wife, Bridget Macron, against the people who were trying to say that she was a man, which she is. That is a dude. And yet the court system says, oh, without any evidence, we're charging you. And now you're going to have to pay money as a result of that. So it's a dumb system. They wouldn't even have to do that. They wouldn't care. They'd just ignore it if it wasn't true. And that's the overarching theme with almost all of these cases.
No, I agree with you. But all right, let me ask you a question. I hate gaslighting. Do you think Pete Hegseth gaslit us a little bit?
That's the middle name of the Trump administration, is Trump gaslighting administration.
President Trump doesn't gaslight anyone, but he's got enough people that do. And I like Pete Hegseth. I like him.
All politicians gaslight. That's all they ever do.
But this was pretty obvious. And Pete Hegseth had something to say about the media. He was smacking the media around. So let's play it, and then I'll be curious to how you see what he said, because I think I see things. I see dead people. Go ahead, play it. 4. Yeah, B4. All right.
Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons, to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence?
What's the buzzing?
Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
But you're not just...
Okay. I'll play. They want to go after the commander-in-chief. They want to go after President Trump. Truth. That's true, right?
It is true.
Okay. Here's what else is true. I don't care about Iran. I don't care. I don't care if Iran and Israel get in a fight and beat the hell out of each other. As long as I don't have to pay for it.
Which we do, though.
We do because we have a captured country. And that's what Candace Owens says all the time. Somebody asked me, by the way, what Stu Peters said. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask about that. It's time to hear Stu's response. I think it'll be good. Either Joe will be right or I will be right. And I technically am right, but Joe could be right about how Stu decides to respond to it. All right, what do you say?
So yesterday I said, hey, we're on the air, and I just want you to know, I just said you were not anti-Semitic. You were just against the Jewish leadership of this rhetoric and lies that they spread. Matt says that you were anti-Semitic and that you would be offended if I said you weren't anti-Semitic. So set me straight and give me the answer. If you are, are you or are you not anti-Semitic, or are you just tired of this faithless, godless environment? He says, I don't care one way or another whether or not someone calls me anti-Semitic. I'm against the occupation of our government and the degradation of our society by a strange, perverse, and foreign people. That's not anti-Semitic. So, and then I wrote, so I was right.
What's the name? Well, what's the name of that group of people, though?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't really matter if
why don't we do a poll? Is Stu Peters anti-Semitic, and is he proud of it? And I would rather. I think between the two options of either you're against Christian values,
is Candace Owens
Jewish values
anti-Semitic?
I mean, less so.
Why? Because she says it nicer.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean,
if we're being honest, because she says it nicer. Exactly.
So
people are pissed off for a reason, because there are a lot of Jewish people, formerly Jewish atheists primarily, in our government are doing extremely evil, awful things. There's so many of them doing it at the top levels of companies, at the top levels of our government. Over and over and over again, it's them that are orchestrating it.
Look, I got a lot of Jewish friends. You know what they all tell me?
They hate them too.
They do.
Yep.
1,000%. And they, worse than us, they can't be self-loathing. And I'm partially Jewish, and I'm like, somebody says, you're either Jewish or you're not Jewish. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not then. I'll leave that aside. At the end of the day, you only get to keep your body until you go in the dirt, right? That's what these atheists believe. So how do you become the chosen people? You built a fraternity, a godless society, and then told the rest of us that we have to follow along with it in your deviancy. Well, what does that make you? What does it make these people? But the Jewish people hate these people. They hate Bibi. They hate Mossad. They see it as a criminal enterprise. But they can't say anything either because they're in the middle of it. You get walk in Israel, say something against Bibi and see what happens. It's the equivalent of the Nazi army. They'll come down and just grab them.
They will. And if they don't want to execute you directly, they'll send you to the front lines and make sure that you end up losing your life either way.
Yeah.
They'll make sure of it, just like they do in Ukraine. Even Russia, most countries on earth, really, that's how the system is operated. China, another example, they will find a way to take your life if you go against the systems of power. We're really the only country that's still remaining, with a couple exceptions, that's large and powerful, where you have the ability to criticize people somewhat freely, is the United States. But we're losing that freedom. And they're taking a little bit at a time. We already don't have the freedom in certain cases because there are legal consequences. You have to spend a lot of money if you want to criticize certain people. Cough, Coomer. Coomer.
I said yesterday, I don't have any ill will towards the guy. I just don't want you stealing elections. And I don't think he's smart enough to do it himself. He can't be that smart. You run into a building and then go in and drink and then, lie to the cops, and you can't be that bright, right? You're narcissistic, yes, but not that bright. And yet we're sitting here having a conversation about whether or not we should keep Dominion, and the fact that you have all this evidence, and I fed all the evidence into ChatGPT. What is it called? Genesis? What's the one for Google? Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis. I believe so. I don't even use the one for Google. I don't trust it at all. I don't care, whatever they want to call it. Genesis, Google Sys, you want to call it.
Gemini. They call it Gemini. So I fed it into Gemini, right? You know what it said to me?
What did it say?
That mathematically it's impossible. That if you gave me real evidence, and I gave it real evidence, and they go, that statistically is impossible. I said, what are the probabilities? It said 7 to the 247th power. Right? 7 million to the 274th power. It can't happen. And then I'll say, what is the statistical anomaly between this happening here and in 199 other areas? And it says it's incomputable. It told me it was go do the math yourself. It's incomputable. And I keep coming back to elections. And why? Because I'm sick and tired of people getting on there like Hegseth and talking to us about, oh yeah, we want to support Daddy. Great, I support Daddy. But look, Daddy's got 4 years. And after Daddy, there are no other daddies. We don't have a second daddy that's coming up.
We're doomed on daddies.
Tell me what other daddy we have. Who's after Trump? Who's going to run the country after Trump? Who's going to run it? Who?
Well, is Daddy Matt Walsh may have to step up to the plate, even though I'm not even old enough. I couldn't even run if I wanted to.
Come on, bro. Who is going to run the country? Let's be honest. Let's be institutionally, academically honest. Who's going to run it after Trump? Who do we have?
It's not going to be Vince. I mean, it will be probably, but it's not going to be. He's not going to be.
Ted doesn't even know Genesis Cruz? That guy?
Maybe Massey. Is Daddy Massey going to be?
Oh, AIPAC will literally just stack the deck against them. And they still own the machines and mail-in ballots. Why is it so hard to come to a conclusion that you have no ability to replace yourself? There is no legacy after President Trump. There isn't. There's no one. Maybe it'll be Bongino. You don't think it'll be Bongino? What do you think? I mean, the guy that said that Epstein. Kash Patel. There's a good guy. Yeah, I'm gonna dismantle the FBI first day, and I'm gonna dismantle it. Oh, you know what I found out? I found out that Epstein actually killed himself. Get the hell out of here. The only guy that's actually doing anything is Bobby Kennedy. He's the only one and he's a Democrat. And I'm like, listen, if he runs for office, I gotta support him if President Trump comes out of office. Why? Because he's not retarded. He's not a coward. He's fought for what's right. And I sit here and I fight. And I send this stuff for Tina Peters and all this other stuff. Matt, at some point, aren't we supposed to get tired of people gaslighting and lying to us?
Listen to me clearly. Epstein did not kill himself.
No, he did not.
Diddy is 100% innocent. All right, Epstein, I'm sorry. I meant to say, I was misleading you. Epstein did kill himself. Diddy is 100% innocent. JFK was killed by a random assassin and his assassin, the assassin of the assassin, was also just totally random. The 9/11 towers were not a conspiracy. It was total coincidence that just happened to be all those things at one time. That's the truth. And if you disagree with any of those things, then you're
all right. So listen, Jenna Frog says Bobby is pushing for biometrics, aka wearables. I didn't say that I agreed with everything that Bobby said. Right. And this is the zero-sum game. I mean, how do you get to, not nice. Not nice meaning that we have two generations here. Okay. That's what I meant by not nice.
Bobby is pushing for biometrics, aka wearables. Hell no.
Yeah, Teresa said that they'd be appalled by the party. Yes. I mean, look, I'm appalled by both parties. I guess that's what I'm saying. If you look at the writing on the wall, Matt, what party do you follow? What party do you follow? The party that's full of shit with Ted Cruz, or the retarded party? Okay, so we're not going to follow the retarded. It's like remember the whole lesser of two evils? You had John McCain and you had Obama, right? And it was a lesser. I voted for Obama. Why? Because McCain's an evil little midget. He was not a good, I had to sit in the room with him many times. He was not a good person. I mean, he didn't care because he would always just stand on the fact that you're anti-American if you stood against him. He was a shrewd man, very shrewd. And what happened to his daughter, who's now anti-Trump and everything else? It's crazy, right? I picked the lesser of two evils, and I wanted us to get to a place where we had unity. I was an idiot. But I mean, this is my point, right? I'm so afraid for your children. I'm not even afraid for my children anymore. My children are in their 20s, mid-20s, mid to upper 20s. I'm not afraid for them because they're going to learn how to they're going to learn to survive. Period. They're going to have to. They've been taught enough. But I mean, yeah.
You know, even people that are supposed to be good and on our side, like RFK, unfortunately, he's compromised to some degree too. With the biometrics and things like that, where they're going to measure through government programs, that is something that will be pushed on us soon, where they're going to try to claim it to be a health thing, but in reality, they're tracking you, your heartbeat, your blood pressure, things like that, to the point that they can then use it to control you. They can use it as a data point. Palantir can use it to advertise to you, and that's going to be through the government. And RFK, as good of a heart as he has, unfortunately, obviously has been compromised to some degree based on what they force him to say at times. He's not fully compromised. Clearly, the tapes they have on him aren't as bad as many of the other tapes they have, but they have enough to the point that even people like that, people who are genuinely doing so much good for our country, who really do want to fix things and want to make people healthier, even that we can't trust fully. That's how you know your state has failed. That's how you know your country's over, when even the people with the good hearts are no longer able to be fully trusted.
NATO. Well, should we give Trump some praise? Because I mean, let's praise what happens overseas. Might as well do that.
I don't know, I think he already got enough from the Netherlands NATO chief. I don't know. Does he need any more?
He's dead.
We got to give him some more. All right, let's pump him up some more.
Baby boy. Here's Trump hails. Let's go to B7. Historic NATO deal. Allies to spend 5% of GDP on defense. Let's go. And we have to talk about this. Let's go and play it.
Major focus of our conversations at the summit was the need for other NATO members to take up the burden of the defense of Europe, and that included the financial burden. As you know, it was 2%, and we got it up to 5%. And they said, a couple of them came up to me. One in particular said, "Sir, we've been trying to get it up to 3% for 20 years, and we haven't been able, and you got it up to 5%. So they're going to be, most of them, I guess almost all of them, are going to be contributing now 5%, a number that people are surprised at, but you need it today. The United States accounts for 2/3 of all NATO defense spending. And since I began pushing for additional commitments in 2017, believe it or not, our allies have increased spending by $700 billion. I said to people, you don't have any money, and a lot of them weren't paying. And so I started the process, and I picked it up as soon as I got back, which is 6 months ago. And following my election last November, almost all have accelerated plans to reach the 2%, 3%, 4%, and then ultimately, very quickly, 5%. And all of this is going to be done very quickly, almost immediately. You probably know this as well as I do. I'm sure they've been talking about it. It's really been a big focus. In a very historic milestone this week, the NATO allies committed to dramatically increase their defense spending to that 5% of GDP, something that no one really thought possible. And they said, "You did it, sir, you did it." Well, I don't know if I did it, but I think I did. This will be known as the Hague Defense Commitment, which is pretty good, pretty appropriate.
You know what that he could do that would be really good? That he could say that he did?
What's that?
He could ban machines and mail-in ballots.
They're going to fight tooth and nail on that. But if he's able to do that, and also if he's able to, really, it should be only in-person voting. If you're not willing to go in person and vote, I don't care if we have to add an extra day on, whatever. Go in person and vote. If you aren't willing to do that, you don't care enough about it. Period.
All right, let me ask you a question. Let me ask the people that are listening. Would you be a part of a fraternity if you had to go to jail, and if you had to go to jail like the J6ers did, but you knew the outcome would be that you'd be pardoned, but you'd have to go through some horrible stuff in order to get there. If you would have known now, or known then what you know now, would you have gone to DC and bypassed all the people who says it's another op, they just want to throw you in jail? Would you have fought? Would you have stood up and risked your life? Would you have gone to jail and gone through persecution? Would you have joined the J6ers? Would you have stood up against the tyranny? If you knew that now, then what you know now, I want to know, would you?
No, they didn't. The thing about that is they didn't really accomplish anything. They just fell into an op, basically, going into the White House on that day. They didn't do anything. Nothing actually changed as a result of that. They didn't stop Biden from stealing the election. He was still able to get in office and cause irreparable damage. So, I mean, I feel like that's an unfair way to phrase the question, because the question should be, if you actually really have the ability to make change, are you then willing to make a sacrifice? And in that case, I think most of us would say yes.
Yeah. This was something that came up, by the way. This Gretchen Smith put this up, and I want to point out just how much is happening right now. My son just called and told me that his closest friend's mom just died suddenly. She was 53. His friend is devastated. Also, his next door neighbor, age 52, was diagnosed with cancer in February. He died last week. What is happening? Let me just tell you, normally the cancer that's in your life that you have, for the first 40 years of my life, I had one person in my life that had cancer. One. My grandma.
What kind of cancer did she have?
Leukemia. She lived with it for about a decade. She was probably the most sane person in my family. One person. And in the last 10 years, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 people had cancer. In the last year, Jeff, Dave, one of our really amazing employees' mom just got diagnosed. Probably 50 people that I know have cancer. 50.
Every single one of those people is $100,000 plus in profit.
Well, I mean, we look at it that way, but more importantly is why. Like, why are we going through this? And this is why I think truth really matters. Like, we have to get to the place where truth does matter. So we're going to take a commercial break. Before we do, I want to talk to you a little bit about AMAC. Obviously, you can get a 1-year membership. We did this for you. AMAC goes against the AARP. I literally went to them and said, anything you can do to get away from the AARP, I'm going to do. And I was like, well, how can I contribute to that and have people that listen actually go through and get a membership with you? So this is gives you a bunch of stuff that you can get, including home and auto insurance, get all sorts of discounts. You can go to amac.us/untamed and you get a free membership. We'll go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the upside down world we call our country and the fact that we've done nothing about it. We are watching as they capture our nation, and we are doing nothing about it. Nothing. Not even in policy, not in leadership. We're too busy being Kardashians. We'll be right back. In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. And I see.
Did you see the pictures though of Diddy's baby oil? They have new pictures that just came out today that show his cabinets full of baby oil. Baby oil obviously being for Diddy something that would be used in the back door.
Just make him drink it. Make him drink it. Okay. So
It's like 100 bottles. And by the way, if you're just tuning in for that, we covered it extensively at the beginning of the show. We've now also moved on and we're talking about some of the other topics of today. So if you want to go back and watch that, if you're curious about the update and the footage,
Better
it does show the truth. As everyone comes in, by the way, this is one of the fastest growing shows in the world. It is the fastest growing show on Rumble right now. So you're going to want to come and subscribe, be a part of it, join in, have fun with us, but also learn a lot. Be informed way more than everyone else who you're talking to and understand what your vote means, understand what your power as an American means and what your influence can do. As a brotherhood, we're going to be able to fix things and make them better. So you have to join. Notifications on, click the subscribe button, click the follow button. You can watch on Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts even for now until they ban us, YouTube. Even on X, you can watch. We're streaming to all of those places every single day. So there's no excuse not to come join us and be part of the brotherhood.
And we're on BEK. We're everywhere. We're like a maggot. We're just everywhere. Because I guess that is kind of fitting. Maggot. Okay.
And maggots everywhere.
Yeah. Because we are everywhere.
We're John Cena. You can't see us, but we're always there.
New York just elected a new mayor. The new mayor, which and again, I just said that people are relatively stupid, but I don't think they're this stupid. So either they are stupid or the elections are absolutely rigged, and I would say that they're rigged. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this person before I put up his rant. Okay. He was born in Uganda. Okay. He only became a U.S. citizen 7 years ago.
Foreigner.
He called for defunding the police, so he's an operative. He lied about defunding the police in 2025, and he fights the police to get to Tom Holman, right? And now he said he's going to protect the Muslim neighbors from getting deported and calls the president of the United States a fascist. I haven't even started yet. Let's start with you watching the video of this clown last night. Let's play it.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors, and to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
All right, now play the video of him going up against Tom Holman.
This guy's such a douchebag.
How many more New Yorkers not charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Holman? How many more New Yorkers not charged?
Okay, and then here's this. And just so you can remember what this guy said, we don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. Well, we need to fund the NYPD. you have a devil that is among us. This guy is a devil.
But there's one positive thing, which is that all of the other candidates agree with all this stuff and would push it through forward in policy. At least he's willing to say how insanely evil he is. At least he's not trying to pretend like he's not evil to save public face or to try to persuade people, because that's worse. When they're evil and they don't admit it, they're able to sneakily get more things through. This is evil, and we're watching it, and we're seeing it, and we're looking at it. He did also say on the debate stage, which is interesting. You want to put it back up? Yep, put it back up. Just the level of lunacy here is off the charts. He did. I will give him a little bit of credit, a tiny bit of credit, if we want to be fair. He did say that he was not going to travel to Israel when all the other candidates did, which is not that big of a deal, honestly, for a mayoral candidate. But I mean, the point of that being is some of the people who try to control New York City are dual Israeli citizens. And so at least they're going to have less control.
He's a sock puppet. But you can't have people, look at what he's saying.
Yeah.
Queer liberation means defund the police. What the hell is queer liberation? Coast to coast right now, mayors and governors of blue state cities and states are collaborating with a violent right-wing government to enforce curfews, round up protesters, and run them down the streets, including the NYC mayor, defund the NYPD.
This guy should be in one of the NY lunacy facilities.
Listen to me. I know New Yorkers. New Yorkers did not actually elect this guy. This is not a real election. And you're not going to be able to get to the bottom of this until you get to transparency. You can't be transparent in mail-in elections. You can't. And ranked choice voting, which is absurd. And the fact that the Supreme Court won't take it up means they're complicit in the behavior.
Well, NYC is no longer part of the country. I mean, it's really not. That is now a foreign state controlled by foreign actors who are stealing the elections, who are faking prominent people in positions, who are running Andrew Cuomo, knowing that he has the controversial history that's not going to allow him to be propped up anymore. It's all fake. It is all fake, and it is all being run by foreign governments and by foreign groups.
It is just, it's gotten out of hand. And here is, by the way, his campaign video. This is the guy's campaign video, and man, he switched accents more than Kamala and AOC combined. This is crazy. Go ahead, play it.
बात ये नहीं है कि मैं क्या बनूंगा, बात ये है कि मैं क्या करूंगा हमारे कम्युनिटीज के लिए और हर एक न्यूयॉर्कर के लिए। मैं हमारे शहर को अफोर्डेबल बनाऊंगा। न्यूयॉर्कर्स मुश्किल से अफोर्ड कर रहे हैं रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान। मैं ये सब बदलने के लिए लड़ रहा हूँ। रेंट फ्री बसेस, यूनिवर्सल चाइल्ड केयर और सस्ती ग्रोसरीज के जरिए। पर आपको एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, तुमने कभी किसी को वोट किया? Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life. A worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am. Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? Down for you. Down for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you. Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Go ahead, make a rap for your naughty. It's a rap. Get the ground, spin the rack on your naughty. Spin the rack. Come through, give a dab to your naughty. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your naughty. Go ahead, make a rap for your naughty. It's a rap. Get the ground, spin the rack on your naughty. Spin the rack. Come through, give a dab to your naughty. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your naughty.
Just so disgusting.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, by the way, I don't think you have to travel outside of the country anymore. I think the country has been overtaken and captured inside the country. And I'm not telling you that we can't have a melting pot. What I'm saying is you can't bring economic destitution into our country and destroy opportunity for children across the country like they're doing right now. And this guy wants to take and use eminent domain to capture all the supermarkets in New York and then turn them into bread lines for New Yorkers. That's a real thing. He wants to give away free food, free healthcare. What does free mean? If 56 cents on every dollar goes to the government and there are trillions of dollars in debt, who is going to pay for the extra money that has to come to pay for these grifters that come here from other countries? And that's what they are. They're boat anchors. And it's sinking our country while we're running over there asking them to spend money on stuff. You could stop this very quickly by getting rid of machines and mail-in ballots and getting to a safe and fair elections. Because you know what the people would do? They would elect real people. Here's the deal. Get rid of machines and mail-in ballots in Colorado. I'll run for governor. And I'll win. I won't just run for governor. I will win being the governor.
That's a big announcement.
I will. Get rid of machines and mail-in ballots, and I will win.
The only problem is you may need to win to get rid of them. That's the catch-22.
But my point is that we don't have a system. We have zero articulation. It has nothing to do with Democrats or Republican people. It has to do with the capturing of our society. Like, we're captured. Our society is captured by idiots. Even the leftist media, when I sit down and have conversation with them about what I actually care about, what we should care about, it has very little to do with either platform for Republicans or Democrats. We want representation. We want to have a seat at the table, and we want to have free and fair elections, which will lead to prosperity. They want the opposite. They want to kill us.
No. One of the ultimate ways to see how much New York City has fallen is to look at the demographics, because it shows you that it's no longer America. You can see that from the demographics, mostly foreigners at this point, white, non-Hispanic, which, by the way, that category includes Jewish, approximately 31%. And in the racial category stats,
5'6" Jew.
I said it does include it.
No, I was just messing around with you. I just want to be able to do that again. I love doing this. 5'6", Jew, run down street. Copy. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I love that impression. That's my favorite one. That's my favorite one so far, Joe. But 31% white, non-Hispanic. Probably like 10% of that is Jewish. So 21% white, 29% Hispanic, 20% African American, 16% Asian, and 4% other or mixed race. Now that guy, who's now leading our most powerful and important city, he does look both somehow Hispanic and Muslim.
He's a Punjabi.
He looks Hispanic and Asian at the same time. He kind of looks like both. So I think that's a huge reason why. I think foreigners are now picking foreigners to lead them. That's what's happening. We're no longer our own country anymore. And it is because of the cheating. It's because of the cheating. It's because there's no one to stop it. There's no one that wants to stop it, who has enough power to be able to do anything. And yeah, I mean that. And by the way, I was thinking that. I mean, I didn't know he was Punjabi, but
I made that up. I don't know what he is.
He probably is. I mean, that was the most Indian thing I've ever seen. And I like India.
I like Indians, period. I mean,
but that was the most Indian thing I've ever seen. And I mean that as an insult, because when we use it in that context, the music video he made, that was extremely trashy. And India has a lot of trashiness.
His mom was giving a finger to everyone. When I get angry, I cuss about things because I want to be passionate about it. And I try not to, so forgive me. But his mom is literally giving people the finger in a video.
It's so disgraceful. I mean, that guy shouldn't even be allowed to vote. He's not even an American. He's allowed to lead things. It's disgusting.
Pretty crazy stuff. Okay. Can we jump into RFK? I want to jump into RFK. Just play it. Yeah, I'll let you guys hear it. You can be disgusted without me talking about it. Play it.
The major reason that the Biden administration lost track of all those children is because they were emphasizing speed over security. And there were political reasons for that. They wanted to get the kids out of U.S. custody, so they were handing them off to anybody. It didn't require background checks. They didn't require identification even. I've watched horror stories of the same person picking up child after child after child, using different names and different addresses. One of the addresses was a strip club. One of the addresses was a parking lot. One of the addresses was an empty lot that was filled with shipping containers. And this character was getting all these kids. One person got 42 kids to one address. What we're doing now is DNA testing on every sponsor. We're doing personal identification. We're doing background checks, and we're doing income verification.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you. My time is
Young
expired.
ladies.
You didn't have to have a background check. You didn't have to have an ID. And they could hand you a 5-year-old child. How many children are locked in somebody's basement right now?
Thousands. Undeniably. That's not a conspiracy. It is thousands right now.
I'm uncomfortable sitting here talking about it because I'd want to kill those people. A child. And we know for a fact, I mean, and Bobby sits up there and he talks about it and he's very eloquent about it. But how can you be eloquent about the horrors that children are going through and the fact that they are literally being held hostage in the basement of people's homes? In the basement. Like they are raping and abusing children, and no one went to jail. Not one person went to jail. Show me one person that went to jail. I just want one. Just one person. Like we can't. And on top of getting all the stuff into the United States, and Denver's a big hub for that. Where we live is a big hub for that. Denver decided to do something else. You're not going to believe this. You might. Play this video. The one that came after the other one. Yeah, my favorite person, Kyle Antifa Clark. Let's play it.
Denver paused the use of vehicle tracking cameras to prevent ICE from using them to find immigrants. The city lost what police insist has been a valuable crime-fighting tool. Our Mark Salinger takes a closer look.
A lot can change in a month. Like whether these small cameras at Denver intersections are crucial crime-stopping tools or dangerous surveillance mechanisms.
Council Resolution 25-0413 has failed.
Last night, Denver City Council voted unanimously to not approve additional funding for flock cameras that read license plates and track cars. Council members worried the data would be shared with immigration authorities to track and deport people.
And those cameras are silently taking an image of every single car that drives by.
I think since maybe January 20th of this year, those concerns are greatly heightened.
But just last month, council members heard from Denver police and the DA's office about how helpful the cameras are at helping to solve crimes.
This flock has been a great tool for all of us.
The system has been really invaluable.
It is a wonderful tool, again, not only for us, but for the victims.
Denver police says the cameras have led to 275 arrests, 180 recovered stolen vehicles, and helped solve everything from homicides to shootings to multi-million-dollar jewelry heists.
So in another, where we just want to stand up for illegals.
And jewelry robbers. I guess even though I will say the idea of more cameras watching my car and your car and all of our cars and surveilling us.
I don't believe in
I'm scared of the future of that.
I'm scared of the future where we don't have a voice. You know, this is the one time that I agree with Kyle Clark. Actually, I'm going to say it right now. I actually agree with Kyle Clark quite a bit. He does some really good stories about things that attach to public interest. I just think he gets it wrong like 30% of the time, mostly when it has to do with me. Because I'm usually right. I'm mostly right.
What percent of the time are you right, Joe? If you had to
99.99999%. Most of the time I'm right.
That's interesting because I'm right 99.9999999%. So I got you beat by a 0.0000009%.
No. What that really means is that you're just wrong when it comes to me. And Diana. So I just want to give you, Diana, I'm just telling you right now that I know that he's wrong more than that with you. So,
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this really quick. This should, I said it before. How many of you would join a fraternity back in 2020 and stand up for J6ers if you knew the outcome would be that President Trump would come in, he would pardon everyone, and we would have kind of a move in a positive direction?
You think it would have been more?
I think it would have been more. I think that if people didn't have the doom and gloom and the people that were creating chaos, because chaos favors the op, never favors the people. President Trump talked about it. President Trump said it very specifically. He said, chaos never favors us. It favors them. Just another word for chaos. And this is something I learned a long time ago overseas. Chaos always favors the op, never favors the people. But how many of you would do that? Because the next question is, and on this show we're going to be talking more and more about, is how do we build that fraternity? I believe more and more that we need to become very, very bold. Emboldened. We need to go to work, come home, put on our battle gear and go out. And I don't mean battle gear meaning being violent. I mean battle gear. You saw the people that were in the Denver County Council deal and they held up little signs. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you have to shut your damn mouth. Citizens aren't allowed to talk. You're not allowed to clap for people. You're not allowed to do anything. By the way, that was never the case. If you went back to the 1800s, early 1900s, people would show up and they would literally make their voices heard. Now, the thing that they would do is that they would hit the hammer against it wasn't a mallet at that point, it was an actual hammer, and they would hit it against a rock or a piece of wood, right? And they would call for order, and then they would make a response, and then it would erupt again. But we had a more ethical society back then. If you murdered someone, Matt, it took about 3 days. They knew it. They had a bunch of people. Yep, you murdered them. All right, go out there. By the time your trial's done, the gallows has already been built. Like, you're going to hang. None of the stuff where we get into all this craziness. And if you go back in time, you had entitlement taxes because you were given land and things like that. So you had entitlement taxes. Didn't last forever. So we have to build a fraternity and go after them. But we also have to look at property taxes, which I think is legalized theft. That means you don't own anything. You own nothing. Well, Ron DeSantis just did something. Play it.
I want property tax relief more than anything, and so that's what we're going to deliver.
Is it playing?
I mean, if you own your home and that's like your primary residence and you have a homestead and everything like that, I don't see how government has the right to keep asking you to pony up infinitum to just pay rent to them to just live on the property that you supposedly own. If it's private property, that means you own it free and clear of the government. And I think for too long, we've just allowed, some of these local governments, and maybe not as much here, I don't know, but in other parts of the state, massive expansion of local government budgets because property values rise and they just get all this money flowing in. And that's kind of turned into a gravy train. But if you have a home and all of a sudden they're saying it's worth so much more, even with homestead, you still pay more. And that's tough for a lot of people. And so wouldn't it be great, free state of Florida means no income tax and you own your own home without them being able to hit you up for property tax?
Yeah, thanks to 200 people who just followed Joe Altman again. That was fast.
Yeah, it was down. Now it's back up. Don't worry, they'll take it away from me here in a minute. So if you just so you know,
it's showing up. Look, it's showing up though. I think people actually did follow you. A couple of them are showing up. Okay, not that.
But it showed 15-2. Now it shows 15-3.
Huh.
They're just playing games with it. Tomorrow will be 15-2 again. I can't. I was up to like 18-7, and now I'm back down to 15-3. I show it to you every day, right? It's crazy.
I've been tracking it. I got the Joe Upman Twitter follower tracker.
Yeah.
Live.
Ron DeSantis said the quiet part out loud. This is something that we've been talking about. I've been talking about this since 2021. If you pay taxes to the government, that means you rent your home from them. He just said it. He called it rent. You have to rent your home from them. Property taxes go up. They get more money. They put it in their coffers, and they abuse that power and authority. This is what I talk about when I say it's institutional slavery. It's institutional slavery.
Now, a lot more people would homeschool their kids if they realized that you were paying for that through your taxes. And if you had the ability to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm only going to pay for what I want. Okay, you want a service like the firefighters. You pay for it if you want. And if you don't want to pay for it, then you don't get a firefighter. I mean, and maybe that you'd have to pay for it because that is a community benefit. But regardless, it shouldn't be through property tax. It should be based on specific things. And you should be able to clearly see the specific prices of those community things and pay for them in accordance with what you need or what you have to pay for based on the community. That should be it. It shouldn't be in the form of a specific broad tax where you don't even see where it's going and most of it's being abused and wasted. It's the dumbest thing. And there are also other ways to do it, like prioritizing sales tax, which incentivizes people to use less resources. If the government did that, and that was the primary tax income structure, and they also used it responsibly, that's important too. But at the very least, doing that, therefore, helps there to be more resources in the economy. That's the only thing that really matters. So anything short of them fixing it in that overhauling way is going to fail and lead to debt and lead to resources being inappropriately misused.
Yeah, we've got to do something. We got to do something. And we got to change the structure. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard
It's
that.
kind of weird.
I want to start a new country. I'm ready, Joe.
You keep talking about starting a new
I'm
country.
ready. Let's do it.
How much land do you have to start your own country?
A couple acres. No, we need more than that. We need a lot. We need a few thousand acres minimum. We need way more than that. We need half of Canada. How about that? Give us half of Canada. We'll go ahead and we'll start a new country. Don't kill us, please, CIA. Just let's do it. And that'd be awesome. That's what I actually genuinely want to do. I would do that if I had the ability to. One day, maybe I will.
Maybe. If that's a goal, you'll do it. They're building an Alcatraz in Florida. Go ahead and check this out. Go ahead and play it. Building of alligator Alcatraz detention center underway in Florida. And you got these little detention homes. Do you think they have air conditioning?
Yeah, you can see the air conditioning right there. Need a big air conditioning unit in Florida.
Interesting stuff.
Florida this time of year, it's. I was just there. I can attest to the fact that it is baking hot right now. It's hot in the Midwest too, but in Colorado, in California, in different parts, it's nothing. It's nothing compared right now to Florida. If you're in Florida, you are feeling extreme heat to the point that you really can't do physical activity outside unless you've been training for enough time to be able to handle it.
So here's my problem, and what am I going to go back to? What do you think I'm going to start talking about again?
It couldn't be the mail-in ballots, could it? The rigged election system. You never talked about that, Joe. It was the first. There's the first time for everything.
So everyone's going to get mad at me for sticking with my guns, but I'm going to stick with my guns. Carrie Lake destroyed someone about election systems, but that wasn't actually the part that I liked the most. The part that I like to know most is that she calls him out because of his gay lover. Go ahead and play it.
You told your supporters, Richer and fellow Republican County Supervisor Bill Gates, that they, quote, sabotaged Election Day. You accused them of deliberately printing the wrong image on ballots to jam tabulators and injecting hundreds of thousands of phony ballots. What a joke. And here's the thing, Miss Lake. When it came down to it, you chickened out. You refused to defend those lies in court. You decided to take a default judgment. You are an adjudicated liar and a two-time political
Chairman, I move to
loser
take down
in
those
Arizona.
those
I have
words,
one
please.
final question.
Chairman,
Reclaiming my time.
I'd like
I
to
have one
take
final
down
question.
those
I'm gonna
words.
yield.
It's the gentleman's
I do not yield. I have one final question
Get your
for
phone
you,
call
Ms.
someone a
Lake. You
liar.
have a chance
That's
to
not
answer.
how
Let me
you
one
treat
final
other
question.
people that
The
have raised
gentlelady
questions.
will suspend, please. Go ahead. You may
You
continue.
lost for governor in 2022 to Katie Hobbs. You lost even worse to Ruben Gallego for Senate in 2024. Well, Arizona has another election for governor next year. Will you do us all a favor and run it back and run for governor again? I yield.
The gentlelady,
no more questions.
Can
I respond to some of that? Because that was complete insanity. I wish I could yield back the last 5 minutes of my life, actually. And I want to apologize to the people of Arizona that we have somebody who's representing the folks in one of our great parts of the valley that doesn't care about the integrity of our election. So, but you weren't here. You came in late, and we're talking about USAGM today, the Agency for Global Media, and how they can put out absolute abject lies, and we can't control any. We have no say over what the editorial content is, and I would hope that you would not be okay with that. They could literally put out a lie about anybody here, and I know you've been the victim of that. I know you've been the victim. I remember the stories about you where they said you had a gay lover, and those were going
Mr.
out
Chairman.
Can I
I hope you honor what you just gave as a caution to everyone.
Shut up, dude.
And
You started it, buddy.
Moved those words be
to tell you that those kind of lies, and you said those were lies, those kind of lies could be broadcast today on VOA, and you couldn't pick up the phone, Representative Stanton, and call them and say, hey, you're putting out lies about me. You would not be able to do that because they would sue you for breaking the firewall. So lies are being told on Voice of America. It's inappropriate. You've been subjected to lies that you said were lies about you in the media before. And how would you like it if those lies were put on Voice of America right now? Because they could do it, and you couldn't do a thing about it. You couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop all those lies that you said were said about you if they went on Voice of America today. You'd have to sit and take it.
Okay, I thank the gentlelady, and I appreciate the dialogue. Ruling on the member, she was responding, and I thought rather complimentary that in fact those were untrue, and she was defending that. So
that's what he says.
I'll leave it as that. I think Mr. Stanton would agree that those were untrue statements, and she said so.
Man, I wish she was the governor right now of Arizona.
She didn't lose that election, and they're gaslighting again because this is why they continue to gaslight. You just keep just stacking bullshit, and all of a sudden you get to the very end of it, and there's not a whole lot you can actually say about it. But just a couple things because today is Hump Day. This is J.D. Vance talking about the President Trump pressing the red button. Let's go and play it.
And the president looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute, and says, "This is not going very well," and he presses the red button. And my eyes get really big, and I'm like, "Mr. President, what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear, nuclear." And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in with a Diet Coke, and he looks back at me and he says, "It wasn't nuclear, it's just the Diet Coke button." And that's... So that's the kind of guy, and my fellow Republicans, that we have as the President of the United States.
All right. Well, I'm not going to play the last one, but I think it's time we stop being politically correct.
I think so. Why don't we drop a giant Diet Coke on our end to celebrate our end of political correctness? Does that sound like a good idea, Joe?
The problem is it's not dropping on the people that matter.
Yeah.
It's like our leaders in our country, a bunch of feckless cowards. We got to just tolerate it. Just put up with it.
The great Diet Coke flood of 2025.
Here's what I wonder, Matt. If you were to put me on a debate stage with any of the presidential candidates, do you think those presidential candidates, including Kamala Harris, would know as much about foreign policy as I do?
Nope. And that's why you got to run, Joe. You got to run. We're all waiting on it. We need Joe to have access to that Coke button within the next short period of time. You need access. You can change it to something else. You can make it a. I don't know what button you want to make. It could be anything. You just need access to buttons.
So I keep thinking that I could run for governor.
Too small.
In Colorado.
Too small. We need president. We can do it. I'm look, guys, I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm trying to encourage Joe. I just imagine Joe up there on the debate stage, absolutely destroying everyone across from him. It would be hilarious because it's not. I mean, you look and you see someone who legitimately has the ability to lead versus these feckless cowards, and it wouldn't even be. It would be the most fun I've ever had watching a debate, almost like Trump 2016 vibes. It would be that level of fun. We want to see it, Joe. I'm trying, guys. I'm pushing for it. We'll work on it.
I think I can start by running for governor. I think I can start there. I think running for the governor of Colorado, and I don't see anybody that's on the debate stage that should be able to beat me. I don't see anybody. I don't see a Democrat or Republican. And the reality of it is, I care more about poor people than they do, and I've proven it over time. These people would never even know. They wouldn't know how to build anything. And then I would doge the hell out of the state. I would get rid of private entitlements. It's getting closer and closer to that idea that I think I have to run. And I haven't said that I'm running. I'm not running, but I might run. I might run for governor. There's a part of me that says that I think I have to. So you guys pray for me. But I think the running for Colorado, I'd be able to prove something very quickly, and that is I know how to fix stuff. And I would get rid of machines and I would get rid of mail-in ballots. But I kind of need President Trump to take care of that first. Because if we get into 2026 and we still have that stuff in place, man, nobody's going to win. Nobody. And you can't run away from it. Can't run away from it.
And we don't know who they're going to run again after Polis either. That's still.
Yeah, they're running Weiser. Phil Weiser, who's a deviant little devil himself. But here's the other thing. I just said it before. Faithless, godless, gay, whatever you want to call these people. You got Jenna Griswold, faithless, godless Jew. Phil Weiser, faithless, godless Jew. What's the guy's name? Jared Polis, faithless, godless Jew. That's the leadership in our state. They're faithless, godless Jews. They're literally atheists. Like our entire state is run by people that were placed in positions of power who have zero faith. They think they turn into worm food. They have no ethics, no morals. Eric Coomer, faithless, godless. I don't even know what he is. He's got Church of Satan on his arm. So I guess he is a Satanist.
I was going to sue you if you get it wrong. Yeah, he probably is. Probably is a Satanist.
At some point, we're going to have to come to Jesus. And the guy yesterday who I met with, Brendan, I'm sitting here having a conversation with him, and I was texting him last night, and I was like, "Yeah, you're a good man." He doesn't agree with me. He's like, "Do you think that maybe you regret the last 4 years?" No, I don't. I think I know now what we need to do as a country, right? And that's why I lose 100 people a day. That's why they suppress me on all these platforms. This is not hard. This is not hard. It truly is not hard. But I don't know. Maybe I'll run for governor. You guys tell me, should I run for governor? Is Coomer a Jew? I have no idea if he's a Jew. But Polis and the rest of them are.
Why don't you Google it right now? Let's find out. I'm curious.
I didn't show up. I tried.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think he's just a zealot. Just a faithless, godless individual. I believe in Satan, though. He got Church of Satan on his arm.
Does he really? He actually has it on his arm?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It's the Screaming Pope. It's the moniker for the Church of Satan. Literally on his arm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So what did he say? I hope this goes viral. Well, holy shit, you went viral for saying you stole elections. So I don't know. I got you, I guess. It happened. So you wanted it to happen. It happened. And then you sued everyone for defamation. Yeah. I can win. If you get rid of the machines and mail-in ballots, I not only can win Colorado, I would win 1,000%. I would win Colorado.
Well, even getting the publicity by running for that cause of getting rid of the machines and mail-in ballots is a huge step in the right direction. That alone is worth it, I think. So
should I run for office? Should I run for governor?
Everyone wants you to run for governor, Joe. You were already the polls already say it. You're the guy, and people want you to run. So the only thing stopping it is nothing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot stopping me. I have a wife that would crush my soul. She'd probably run me over with a truck.
Yeah, she'll jump in the race.
Joe Altman wins the governor race, but I'm sorry he can't be here tonight. He has been killed because his wife ran him over with a truck.
It's a good move. Jeff says that he'll be happy to pray us out. We don't have it set up yet, Jeff, but I will. I think we'll do that. We're going to bring some people on and actually have you pray us out. We're also going to take questions. So just so you know, we're going to go back to a couple of things we did before. We're going to have question and answer, have people come in, ask questions, and troll us. We hope that radical leftists troll us too. I kind of want that. Have a conversation with a radical leftist on the show.
That'd be good. And by the way, Jeff, you're banned from calling in. No, I'm just kidding. You can call in. You can call in, Jeff.
All right, so we'll get that straight. So we have call-ins. We'll make sure that we have a couple guests over the next couple of weeks. We got some cool stuff that's going to be coming up here shortly. I should pray us out, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Father God, thank you. Father God, thank you. Thank you for the time that you've given us and for having us born at a time such as this. Thank you for your grace and your commitment to us and for the time that you've given us to kind of set the ship right. We know, Father, that we have sat back and we have been apathetic. We have watched as weeds and trees grew up on the land that you gave us that should be prosperous. It should bear fruit for generations. And yet we have stopped that from happening. Father, forgive us for not standing up loud enough and for allowing the bully pulpit and the people that want to abuse us in our community from keeping us quiet. Father, we are eternally grateful for the ability that we have to stand together in this great country, but we also recognize the peril that we're in today. So, Father, I would just ask that you would reveal things to us and give us the pathway, give us the light to walk towards. Help us, Father, that we may honor you in what we do daily and recognize that we are in a fight and we must make sure we preserve and restore you to our communities. I don't know how we do it, Father, but I would just ask that you give us the ability to follow the Holy Spirit, to align ourselves collectively together, set aside petty differences, and just become more in tune with what path you want us to follow. Help us, Father, that we may never become the very thing that we're fighting against. And help us that we may fight against this satanic deviancy that seems to have consumed our communities, our country, and the world. I ask these things, Father, humbly, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same station.
4 p.m. Eastern, every day.
Every day. We'll see you guys soon. God bless you.